With the Toronto Maple Leafs in the midst of a 5-game losing streak, head coach Craig Berube had a strong message for his group at practice on Monday.
If you don't bust your ass to get there, if you don't get low enough, then you're That's just effort, and it's just wanting to get there. That's all it is. It's wanting to get there. So just do it, and do it hard, and do it right. Here we go. We did a better job last game of not giving up as much, not spending as much time in our zone. So that's a big part of it. So you got to work on it, and we do work on it, but we're going to continue to work on it and get better at it.
Is that something you've noticed as well? Is there an uptick in effort and urgency?
I mean, to be honest, I think there's always been good effort and good compete. So I don't think that has really ever been like the issue. Yeah, I mean, we're losing, but I think we're feeling positive. I mean, trending hopefully in the right direction. So yeah, I mean, if this keeps going for another month, then we're in a different mood.
Doesn't seem that stressed about it. Okay, so TSN, the home of the National Hockey League, and we've got that Leafs-Blues matchup for you beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time in the Leafs region. We also have the Jets and Blue Jackets in Winnipeg returning home after that long road trip. You can see that one beginning at 7 o'clock Central on TSN. Bryan Hayes is in Winnipeg for the Grey Cup. Now he's back hanging out with us. And Brian and Jeff O'Neill and Jamie McLennan, the Overdrive crew, they're going to be the panel for Tuesday night's Leafs-Blues game right here on TSN, TSN 4. Brian, first of all, do you guys look forward to this every year, doing these Leaf games together? Are you excited about it?
Oh, always, always. Can't wait. We can't get enough of each other, right? We just spent a 2-day holiday in Winnipeg, and now we're back home in Toronto, and we're going to do the show, and then we're going to do the panel. So it's going to be a lot of Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog, so buckle up.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. But I'm probably most excited because depending on how they play against a Blues team that is actually struggling worse than Toronto is, that's the good news. This team has just been struggling. 5 straight losses. Obviously, Craig Berube really upset in practice on Monday. How much pressure is Craig Berube under to make it work with this group, Brian? Trades don't seem to be an option. There's no futures left.
Yeah, I don't think trades are an option, and I think we're likely to hear from Brad Treliving on Tuesday, and I think you'll get, a vote of confidence for the coach and say the answers are in the room. You're likely going to hear a lot of cliches because they have to exude some sort of confidence because they're not showing it on the ice right now. So I think all the pressure, or a lot of the pressure, is on the head coach, Craig Berube, because sure, you could pick off individual players, but they're in a really bad place. You know, they've lost 5 straight. Prior to this 5-game losing streak, they hadn't been playing well. They don't defend well. They give up egregious breakdowns every single game. They get outshot seemingly every single game. That's on the coach. He's got to solve it. He's got to figure it out. And Craig Berube was brought into town because he has that championship pedigree. Right? He doesn't want to be the first guy on the list that misses the playoffs in a decade. Sheldon Keefe never did. Mike Babcock did his first year when they tanked for Austin Matthews. Then he never missed the playoffs. Craig Berube is well aware of the history here. He's well aware of the expectation, and he's well aware of the pressure from within the organization, going all the way up MLSE, Keith Pelly, Brad Treliving, Craig Berube. So Berube's got to figure this out, and he's been in this position before, and that's why I think if you're a Leaf fan, that might give you a glimmer of hope, right? It was a different context in St. Louis. A coach had to be fired for Berube to step in, but that Blues team in 18-19, prior to them going on a run, they were a mess. They were more of a mess than this current Maple Leaf team. Yes, Binnington came in, got on a heater, but Craig Berube pushed every right button all the way to a Stanley Cup. Now, I'm not going to sit here and predict that he can do that again or he will do it again, but he's been in this position before. He needs to stay calm. He needs to stay on these guys, but he's got to get them going. They've got to clean stuff up. They've got to check better. They've got to defend better. They got to start out shooting teams. They got to get their special teams going. Again, the players responsible for what happens on the ice, but how they're prepared to get there, that's on Craig Berube. So I don't think he's relying on Treliving to do much because I don't think he can right now in the league and the way the world works in the National Hockey League. But there's pressure from within. I'm sure he's feeling it. Craig Berube's got to start going here. He's got to get this team moving in the right direction.
Don't forget, Bryan Hayes, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie McLennan, the panel on TSN's broadcast of the Leafs and Blues on Tuesday night on TSN4. Let's move over to the NFL, Brian, and I want to show you the AFC playoff picture, if you don't mind me showing this to you. This is something we're not used to seeing, Brian. The Chiefs outside of a playoff spot. Now 4 games back in the AFC West after Sunday's loss to Denver. They still have a great chance to make the postseason, but I guess my question for you, Brian, is are we seeing the end, not necessarily the dynasty, but the end of the Chiefs as a dominant NFL team?
Yes, I believe we are. I think we have. And I think the record speaks to that and the pursuit of not only the top seed in the AFC West, but the top seed in the AFC. And that's what Mahomes has done in conjunction with Andy Reid and everyone around Kansas City, basically since he arrived, since he took over for Alex Smith. They've been the top dog in the AFC. It wasn't about sneaking into a wild card spot. It wasn't about sneaking in, maybe trying to push a couple of teams around early in the playoff run. It was about being a dominant force from week 1 all the way through the regular season into the playoffs and putting your stake in the ground and letting everyone know we, the Kansas City Chiefs, are the team to beat. That has not happened, and it has not looked that way at any point this season. At any point this year have they looked like a dominant team. I think their record is indicative of who they are. They're an average team right now. Denver's better than them. The Chargers have a better record and might be better than them. And obviously there's other teams in the AFC that I think can stick their chest out and say we're in a better position than Kansas City. So yes, it is uncharted territory for what we've known of the Patrick Mahomes era. But this was always inevitable, Jay. It's just impossible to stay on top forever. They've had an unbelievable run. They've been to 3 straight Super Bowls. They've won a bunch of rings. He's done it all. He's seen it all. And I'm speaking of Mahomes. Now, the challenge for Kansas City is how do you transition into that next stage, right? Tom Brady is the guy that was the pace car for Mahomes in his career. That's who he's chasing, right? There's only one guy he's chasing down, and it's Brady. And Brady had multiple stages of his career. He won those 3 Super Bowls really quickly. Then he didn't win another Super Bowl for a decade. Right? They lost in 2007. They lost in 2012, I believe it was, both times against the Giants. So they had losses and they got to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win again for a long time until Brady got into his late 30s. Mahomes is 30, right? He just turned 30 this year. He's still in his prime. He's still got his A stuff, right? He still looks like himself. His stats are there. But Travis Kelce's likely to retire after this season. Right, he's got a second life going. He's engaged. He's getting married. I'm sure you've heard of it. So I think Kelce's going to move in a different direction. There's going to be people that shuffle in and out of this organization. We'll see what happens with Andy Reid. And does he have what it takes to coach for another 5, 7, 8, 10 years, like Belichick did for Brady? I don't know. We'll see. But Mahomes, you still got him in Kansas City. And I think it's in the best interest of the NFL for Kansas City to get back on top. It's not going to be this year. I'm not convinced it'll be next year, but it will happen at some point because you still have the golden child. You still got Patrick Mahomes. But this is where it gets challenging. He walked into a great situation. He's more than just pulled his weight. He's had just a phenomenal start to his career, better than anyone we've ever seen. But this is an adjustment. 5-5, not looking great. I don't think they win a Super Bowl this year. I'm not convinced they even make the playoffs. Mahomes is going to put pressure on this team. Get me back to another Super Bowl. Let me win again. And I don't want it to be a decade like it took Tom Brady. So this is, I think, the end of this era. I think this window is closed for the Chiefs. I'm very curious to see when the next one opens.
And it doesn't get any easier in Week 12. The Chiefs will have to face the 8-2 Indianapolis Colts. Looking forward to seeing Brian and the Overdrive crew on TSN Tuesday night. This has been Harvey's Hot Takes.
Hot Takes is presented by Harvey's. Things are heating up with Harvey's Buffalo Chicken lineup, including the Buffalo Chicken Sandwich, wrap, nuggets, or poutine for a whole lot of spicy, saucy flavor. Harvey's, it's a beautiful thing.